The Drake Passage, situated between Cape Horn at the southern tip of South America and the South Shetland Islands of Antarctica, is often called the most dangerous body of water on Earth. Stretching approximately 600 miles wide, this tumultuous stretch of ocean connects the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans and serves as a critical route for ships traveling to and from Antarctica. Beneath its surface lies a jagged seafloor of deep troughs and underwater ridges, which interact with the water flow to create violent wave conditions. What makes the Drake Passage so formidable, however, isn't just its geography. It's the unique environmental forces that converge here with brutal intensity. At the heart of this chaos is the Antarctic Circumpolar Current, the only ocean current that flows completely around the globe without encountering any land. This current moves more water than all the rivers on Earth combined and gains tremendous speed and force as it loops around Antarctica. When it is forced to pass through the narrow corridor of the Drake Passage, it accelerates further, generating massive swells and surface instability. The region is notorious for its unimpeded wind systems. With no landmass to slow them down, strong westerly winds sweep across the passage, often reaching hurricane-force speeds. These winds stir the ocean's surface, turning already volatile seas into chaotic battlegrounds of towering waves and unpredictable patterns. A history written in wreckage. The Drake Passage has long stood as one of the most treacherous and unforgiving maritime corridors on Earth, earning its grim nickname as a maritime graveyard. For over 4 centuries, it has challenged the skill, resilience, and courage of seafarers from around the globe. This turbulent body of water lies between the southern tip of South America and Antarctica, and is infamous for its violent storms, towering waves, and ever-changing weather. Unlike more predictable sea routes, the Drake Passage offers no safe harbor, only a volatile stretch of ocean where nature often wins the fight against man-made vessels. The early days of exploration and tragedy. The passage owes its name to the English explorer Sir Francis Drake, who in 1578 was inadvertently blown south while navigating the Strait of Magellan. Although he never actually sailed the Drake Passage itself, his crew's accidental detour into the open waters to the south confirmed the existence of a vast sea route linking the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. However, it wasn't until 1616 that Dutch navigator Willem Schouten, along with Jacob Lemaire, deliberately sailed through what we now call the Drake Passage. Their voyage marked a new era in exploration, opening up a faster route for ships traveling to the Pacific, but it came at a high cost. The Drake Passage quickly developed a reputation for tragedy. Storms could appear with little warning, and the combination of massive swells, freezing temperatures, and high winds meant that many early voyages ended in disaster. Ships built for other regions of the world were ill-equipped to face the fury of these waters. In 1741, the HMS Wager, part of a British naval squadron led by Commodore George Anson, was caught in a brutal storm and wrecked on the Chilean coast after attempting to round Cape Horn via the Drake Passage. Of the 120 men aboard, only a few survived. Another infamous incident occurred in 1819 with the disappearance of the Spanish naval vessel San Telmo. Carrying over 600 men, the ship vanished in the Drake Passage while en route to reinforce Spanish forces in South America. Debris believed to be from the San Telmo was later found on the shores of the South Shetland Islands, suggesting the ship may have broken apart in the violent waters. Some historians even theorize that survivors could have reached Antarctica, potentially making them the first humans to set foot on the continent. Shackleton's legendary voyage of survival. While the Drake Passage has swallowed countless lives, it has also served as the backdrop for one of the most heroic survival stories in maritime history. In 1916, British explorer Sir Ernest Shackleton faced unimaginable adversity when his ship, the Endurance, became trapped and eventually crushed by pack ice in the Weddell Sea during the Imperial Transantarctic expedition. Stranded on the ice with no hope of rescue, Shackleton made the bold decision to attempt a crossing of the Drake Passage in a small 22-foot lifeboat known as the James Caird. Accompanied by 5 of his most trusted men, Shackleton set out on an 800-mile journey through some of the most dangerous seas on the planet. Battling towering waves, gale-force winds, and freezing temperatures, the crew navigated by sextant, relying on brief glimpses of the sun to chart their course. After 16 harrowing days at sea, they miraculously reached the remote South Georgia island. From there, Shackleton and 2 others crossed the island's uncharted mountainous interior on foot to reach a whaling station and organize a rescue mission. 4 months later, Shackleton returned to save the rest of his crew, not a single one of whom had perished. His leadership and determination became legendary, and his successful crossing of the Drake Passage in a lifeboat remains one of the most extraordinary feats of survival and navigation in recorded history. Legacy beneath the waves. In 2022, more than a century after Shackleton's epic journey, the wreck of the Endurance was finally discovered. Astonishingly intact, resting over 3,000 meters below the icy surface of the Weddell Sea. The preservation of the ship offered a rare and invaluable glimpse into the past, capturing the imagination of historians, scientists, and adventurers alike. The discovery served not only as a physical reminder of the perils of early polar exploration, but also as a powerful symbol of human endurance in the face of overwhelming odds. The Drake Passage, with its brutal beauty and deadly unpredictability, continues to be a place where history, myth, and nature collide. Each wreck, each tale of survival, and each expedition through its waters adds another chapter to its storied legacy. Navigating danger in the modern era, even in the age of satellite navigation and advanced weather forecasting, the Drake Passage remains one of the most daunting maritime routes on the planet. Located between the southern tip of South America and the northern fringe of Antarctica, this narrow stretch of sea continues to challenge vessels with its raw, elemental fury. Although today's ships are far better equipped than their wooden-hulled predecessors, the passage has not lost its ability to surprise and endanger those who attempt to traverse it. Technological advances meet relentless nature. Most modern expeditions to Antarctica, whether scientific missions, tourism cruises, or logistical supply runs, begin in the Argentine port city of Ushuaia. From there, ships must cross the Drake Passage, a journey that, even under the best conditions, is notorious for violent seas. Despite having access to cutting-edge meteorological data, GPS-based navigation systems, and real-time satellite monitoring, crews are still forced to make critical decisions in real time. Captains often study detailed wave forecasts to adjust their heading and reduce the impact of wind-driven swells. By angling their ships to meet waves more efficiently or rerouting to avoid turbulent weather systems, they attempt to navigate the passage safely. The crossing itself typically takes 2 days, but those 48 hours can feel eternal to passengers and crew alike. Seasickness is common, even among seasoned sailors, as ships are tossed by multi-directional swells in what's known as the Furious 50s, a reference to the ferocious winds that dominate latitudes between 50 degrees and 60 degrees south. The modern tools may provide guidance, but they cannot guarantee calm seas. A modern reminder of nature's power. The illusion of safety was shattered once again in November 2022, when the cruise ship Viking Polaris encountered a catastrophic rogue wave while traversing the Drake Passage. The wave, estimated to be over 52 feet tall, struck the vessel with enormous force. Windows were smashed, parts of the ship sustained extensive damage, and multiple passengers were injured. Tragically, one passenger lost their life, a stark reminder that the ocean's fury remains ever present, even in the era of steel hulls and radar systems. Rogue waves, once considered maritime folklore, are now recognized as legitimate and dangerous phenomena. They can emerge without warning, generated by complex interactions of wind and current. In a region like the Drake Passage, where wind speeds routinely exceed 60 knots and waves stack unpredictably, the chances of encountering such a wave are significantly higher. Icebergs, titanic threats below the surface, beyond waves and storms. Another hazard that plagues modern navigation through the Drake Passage is the presence of drifting icebergs. These massive floating remnants of Antarctica's calving glaciers can stretch for miles in length and tower stories above the sea's surface. Beneath the water, their submerged bulk poses a silent and often invisible threat to vessels. In rough seas or poor visibility, spotting these icebergs in time to maneuver around them can be extremely difficult, even with sonar and radar assistance. Some of the largest icebergs ever recorded have passed through this region, carried northward by the powerful Antarctic circumpolar current. These glacial giants not only pose physical risks to ships, but also force route changes and delay schedules, sometimes causing days-long detours for safety reasons. The consequences of a collision with one of these icebergs could be catastrophic, regardless of a ship's size or strength. Thanks for watching. Please like the video, press the subscribe button, and also drop your thoughts in the comment section.